In this video, we are going to look at the basic steps on how to complete a square. Now, when we're given this expression, this quadratic expression with three terms, what we basically want to do is we want to take, let's say it's in its standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, where a, b, and c represents the coefficients and the constant. We want to rewrite it to look like the following, to look like x minus b squared plus q, okay, where this is known as its completed square form. That's its standard form. Okay, now first of all, what we're going to do is, the first thing you do is you just write down the first two terms. So we've got x squared plus 6x. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the coefficient of x and we're going to add and subtract it, but we're going to add 6 over 2 squared, so it's always over 2 and it's always squared, right? The only thing that changes is the coefficient, depending on what the coefficient of x is, and then we subtract 6 over 2 squared. Now the reason why we have to add it and subtract it is because this is an expression. We can't just add a random value, it will change the value of the expression. So, and then we just put the 5. So actually we just put this in, we added these two terms to the expression, but actually this is just equal to 0. That's why we can do it. We add the same thing and we subtract the same thing. But what we're going to do is now we're going to group the first three terms. So you open a bracket and you square it, and then you take this x, or whatever is inside this square bracket, which would actually always be x, and then you take this sign, so that's a plus, so you write the plus there, and then you take whatever is inside this square bracket, and 6 over 2 is 3, so I just write 3. Okay, and then we just need to simplify this, add this together. This is 6 over 2, which is 3. 3 squared is 9, and minus 9 plus 5 is negative 4. And there we have it. So this is our p-value, which is, if this standard form has a negative, so this is actually negative 3, but we'll look into that a bit later. And then the q value is negative 4. Right, so for example 2, I'm going to run through those steps again. We rewrite the first two terms, okay? Then we are going to add, and notice this is now negative 3, but we don't need to worry about the sign at this point. You can put it in, but it's anyway going to be squared out. So we just write the absolute value of the coefficient there. So that's going to be 3 over 2 squared, and we subtract 3 over 2 squared, right, and plus 9. Okay, so for the first three terms, we have our squared brackets, and we write x. Now it is a negative, and then 3 over 2. Now 3 over 2 can't be simplified any further. We'll just rewrite it like that. And simplifying these, that is negative 9 over 4 plus 9. So you can use the calculator. There's just one thing you need to be careful for, which I myself have made these mistakes many times. When you add these two terms, remember the negative. A lot of people just say, okay, 9 over 4 plus 9, and then write the answer with a negative, but you have to add, because it's a negative number, plus 9. Alright, so then our answer is positive 27 over 4. Okay, and that's the final answer. Okay, and then for 3, now in this case we can see that the terms, the expression isn't in its standard form, so we have to rearrange the terms first before we go ahead and do completing the square. So that comes next, and then, okay, so x squared, then the term that contains x, and then the constant. Okay, so we rewrite the first two terms, and we say plus 12 over 2 squared, and subtract 12 over 2 squared, and then plus 2. Okay. Grouping the first three terms, we get x minus 6 all squared, and that becomes 6 squared, which is negative 36. Negative 36 plus 2 is negative 34, and there we have it.